So I was watching the shoot that CM Punk did on with the WWE, and you know he was right on a lot of stuff that he was saying. But yeah, we're not talking about that right now. We're actually talking about some old school gaming right now. We're talking about music. This is part 2 of my series here, old school music here. We're touching on Nintendo right now. We're going to go ahead and touch on other things later on, you know, as long as they're not little boys, we okay. But we're going to keep going here. So we're going to try to do the G through the, G through the R's right now. And we'll go ahead and end it off there. And if we have time, we'll do the other ones here. So, let's go ahead and start off. Let's see. We already did. Let's see here. Where should we start? So, this particular theme was actually a game that I found really ironic because I saw Goonies 1, the movie, and I didn't know anything about Goonies 2. Yet, the game was here. What? You know? So, Goonies 2 was actually one of the best games, not out there per se, but it actually had a lot of fans out there, till this day too. I mean, it's one of those games that had a lot of different people out there who loved it. Speaking of games who loved it, we're going to talk about this game right here, because this game has a huge fan base to this day and age. Remix version, of course, but that game is called Gladius. Gladius was actually one of basically what it was is, you were in a spaceship. Long story short, side-scrolling shooter. It was one of the best games. It came out. It had a part 2 that came out with it too. There's a lot of games out there. Remember Battle of Olympus that came out? Well, Battle of Olympus had a cousin, if you will, called Guardian Legend. Guardian Legend was actually a really good game in itself. It was a woman who could transform into a spaceship. And I thought that was awesome. You transform into a spaceship. What else do you need? Awesome, right? These are a little bit remixed, but you get the idea. So, the next song I want to play, let me put it to you this way. The next song I'm about to play with you pretty much not only revolutionized co-op gaming, but to this day and age, and I'll give you an example in a minute, but this day and age, people still use elements that was first started on this particular title. Didn't awesome video games make like a dance to this or something like... I don't know. But anyway, to this day and age, a lot of people actually still use the co-op mechanics that were used in this game. One particular example would actually have to be Resident Evil 5. Remember certain times when you had one person had to roll the crank and the other person had to run across the bridge or whatever? That's an example. That's how this game was. One person had to control the pillars, the other one controlled the character. And you could actually wind up killing, your character or anything like that. It was great, First time that we ever got to see something of this nature here. So, with that being said, going over to a current franchise, Super Smash Brothers. Super Smash Brothers Melee and Brawl and all those games out there have been fantastic. What they've been doing is basically taking Nintendo characters and putting them into an all-out 1-on-1 or 2-on-2 sometimes, or 3-on-1 sometimes, battles just to end them all. Fantastic game. Here's the thing. Some of the characters a lot of people don't know. Now, if you remember, those are characters in snowsuits who were called Ice Climbers. You remember those guys? Well, they actually had a game of their own, called Ice Climbers. A lot of people don't remember those. I remember them. And And once again, it's one of those games that really did not need a background track, mostly because at the time, though games like that didn't have background tracks. But you had something simple like this. I mean, that's all you needed, you know? And it's funny because it's true. That's all you needed in these tracks here. What else are we working with here? Let me see. Timer. I know that game, but I'm not going to play it. I know that game too. Once again, I'm not going to play it. Oh! I'm not sure. I never listened to this particular track yet on this system, but we're going to see how it goes. Because this game was a really good game. I was playing this the other night. This was called Konov or Karnov. Anyway, he was a fat Russian guy rather, who blew fire out of his mouth. I don't know. It took shooting and platforming and mixed it into one game, and it was really good. It was definitely one of those great games out there, you know. Now, the next song I'm going to play is, I actually never really played this game before, but it's apparently a really big franchise that everyone really loves. So, I got to give love to it because I never played it, but at the same time, everyone actually gives love to this song, to this game. I'm talking about none other than Kid Icarus, and it actually sounds like a good track. Sounds pretty good, right? So this one, I can't really, this is going to be a quick track, but I'm pretty sure as soon as I play this, everyone's going to know exactly what it is. Kung Fu, baby. That was one of the best games out there for a while now. Seriously, it was, at the time, it was like, I used to love that game. The next game I'm going to play doesn't even need an intro. It doesn't. I mean, you can literally play it, and everyone knows exactly what it is on point. Right? Now, mind you, this is just the Nintendo version. There's all kinds of remakes out there, but I mean, one thing I used to love about these games is they used to come out with, like, they had such good tracks to them. I used to love them, and to make it better, like, people this day still create songs out of them, you know. I think I remember Brando doing this one. The name's Link. I don't know how he goes. Son, I got a wooden sword from an old man in a cave, and when my heart's maxed out, it shoots an energy blade. I don't know how that works, but that's okay with me. Eventually, I find my way out of this maze. Northwest, southwest, I'm on the way to the graves. With a master sword, I'm going to town. I'm Zelda's upside down, Triforce with one in the brown. You can't stop me. I love this. I'm not doing justice to their song, but I used to love that song. You know, seriously. Let's see. Remember Gladius? I just did a song about that. Well, you know how people say how Golden Eye is better than Perfect Dark, but that's kind of impossible, seeing that Perfect Dark was GoldenEye plus 8, you know? People said that a lot about Gladius and this particular game right here. Now, this was called Life Force. Basically, it was Gladius, but with 2 players, harder stages, and I mean, why would you complain about it? I'm sorry, I missed the first part. Excuse me 1 second. Okay, so anyway, yeah, I mean, it was like, what are you talking about? Sorry. Anyway, yeah. So those were definitely games that I was definitely a big fan of back in the day. I still am. As you see, right now, I'm geeking out, as one of the guys said there, because I love these games, you know? Here's one game that I always played. And I used to be in this all-boys choir for one of the churches, right? And I used to love, like when we got in there, we got to play Nintendo games, and this was one of the Nintendo games I used to play all the time. Marble Madness was one of my favorite games out there, you know, and I still play it to this day. In fact, I think I did a video on it. You know? Well, this is obviously a remix, but you get the idea. Now, of course, a lot of people will say, well, my first video game was Super Mario Brothers. Some people even try to say that's the first video game ever, but it's not. Because there was another game before Super Mario Bros. There were plenty of them. But even in the franchise, there was a game called Mario Brothers. That's right. Super Mario Brothers was not Mario's first appearance. He had several appearances prior to Super Mario Brothers. Yeah, back in those days, they used a lot of songs that already were known. Now, of course, we got the Mega Mans. How can we not talk about the music if we can't talk about the Mega Mans, right? Right. So, there's a lot of them that I know. But one always stands out amongst the crowd. Let's play a better one, okay? Let's try this one. In fact, I know someone else made a song about this one too. I believe it's a guy from Japan. He was like, crash soon and I forget the rest of the words. Basically, he was saying Crash Man was gay. And so anyway, but this day and age though, after playing Mega Man again, I gotta say that despite that I used to love that song, this is one of my favorite songs from Mega Man. Please, can we find a better version than that? That doesn't qualify! Let's listen to it first, because I think it just started out kind of like this. Now, ironically enough, I'm not a big Mega Man fan. I'm not. Fact of the matter is, I played more Mega Man X than I actually played of Mega Man, because I was just a big fan of Mega Man X, but never really a big fan of Mega Man. Go fig, right? And then there's also Metal Gear, which, quite frankly, screwed up my English for years. Like, seriously, have you ever listened to Metal Gear? But, let's see, anything else we have? Well, we're running out of time, really. So, I guess the best song to end it on would be, remember this one? Now, there's a whole bunch of other songs we missed, definitely. We didn't have no time for Micro Machines, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, Mission Impossible, Ninja Gaiden, you know, all those games out to POW, one of my favorite games. We'll all get to those in a minute, but we only have 15 minutes. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what kind of songs you want to hear from Nintendo. And don't worry, guys, for those who are not Nintendo savvy, because Super Nintendo, Genesis, we're going to talk about all that. We're going to give love to all the old school, because it's been such a long time since someone's really given them love. You guys have a good night. Zeph out.